Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 10th of November, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the Tesla shares. They fell yesterday some 12%, and the reasons for this are pretty well known. But what I did find interesting, I just put a post on LinkedIn, in fact, is just looking at TTF. This is a 60-minute chart of Tesla with the TTF chart overlaid. I just move that chart so I match up the high lows. You can just pick that up in the overlay function. And so it's quite interesting just to see how we followed up in a similar path, and then will Tesla shares follow a similar path down? This is just really how bubbles burst, and it's just quite an interesting concept. Will we make then a lower high and then a lower low? This is really what we're looking for now that we've had that move. And interestingly, on the point and figure chart on the 60-minute, if you press the T key, the 5x3 chart gave a downside target yesterday at 1170 to 1040. That's where we went. So that fall was pretty much predicted in the chart. That's why you need to use these point and figure targets. So looking at the markets overall, we'll start by looking at the dollar index. These are my tracker charts, so they basically follow my moves down my list here. You can download this template from Updata, so you can just follow me. Here I'm using Refinitiv Icon. If you're a private user, the Metastock Zenith system is much the same system, so it's quite powerful, feeding into Updata to give you this extra level of analysis. So we've got a weekly, daily and 60-minute chart with the corresponding point and figure targets. So this is my long term, my medium term and my short term view of the market, and that multifaceted view allows me to really understand what's going on. And of course you can do this on any list you like. So you could look at, for example, if you wanted to know what's going on with Amazon shares, you just click on Amazon and there you are. The long-term picture is bullish, the medium-term picture has turned back to bullish because we're back above the cloud, and the short-term picture is bullish, and we've got the corresponding point and figure targets. So we've got short-term targets of 6 and 9%, medium-term target 11%, and 10%. This just shows you can take any asset and look at the charts in this way. So it's really quite powerful. So we look at the dollar index. It's starting to get near breaking through the cloud on the daily, and we see, a bit of a sore throat this morning, and we see here on the 60-minute we're rising as well. Looking at the euro, we're trending lower, so that stronger dollar is really showing through there. We do have a downside target here, although we've just seen a little bit of short-term improvement in the euro. We are starting to fall away again. That medium-term target will dominate the short-term target, of course. Sterling sitting at 135.20. And we see here, again, that general trend against that stronger dollar. Bitcoin is sitting at $66,000, just pulled back a little bit, but has made the new high. 72,000 are the shorter term targets. 83,000 is the target that we've been gunning towards, so that's quite key. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we were down 1/3% yesterday, and the Nasdaq was impacted slightly by a fall in tech shares, Tesla probably having a bit of an effect there. The futures are down slightly this morning. The S&P future down just under 0.2%, the Nasdaq down under just over 1.1%. So it looks like the markets will open slightly lower today. The VIX volatility has kicked up, and so we're just seeing a little bit of a potential sell-off there. The DAX in Germany is down slightly. The CAC 40 is also down slightly, but these indices are still all in bullish mode above all their clouds, short-term, medium-term and long-term. So it's too early to say that markets are cracking up. The Tokyo index, the Nikkei, is also lower and just starting to come back through the cloud, so looking a bit weaker there. The Hang Seng actually was up yesterday, but the trend has been very much down, and of course this long-term picture is looking pretty bearish. So this is one market that's not looking so good. And the Chinese market also, as you would imagine, is looking similar to Hong Kong. The Sensex in India has been very strong. We've got a strong upside target here. The short-term chart has been quite flat, but the longer-term charts are looking very good for India. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute, but just having a look at commodities. Wheat is up slightly, still looking very strong on these upside targets there for wheat. Corn hasn't looked as strong as wheat, having made a high in the middle of the year and pulled back, but we are starting to see a bit of a resurgence in price here as well. Gold sitting at 1825. At least it's holding this 1800 level now for a while, and that is quite good news for gold bulls. We've got a target to 1866, and of course on the medium term charts we've got other targets as well, just waiting for this upside target to a new high to be activated. Silver is down this morning, but it is short term holding its bullish trend. US 10-year yields sitting at 148, just below that 150 level. So that move in interest rates, the fears for interest rates rising have receded, so we're seeing that showing up in bond prices. And the one bond price to watch is definitely the German bond. If we break below that low, we've bounced off that support level, but that's what we're really watching is for a crack in European bonds there. And that's the bond future, of course, the Bund. Looking at gas, first of all, this is TTF. It fell away heavily yesterday, has bounced this morning. We've got an upside target and a downside target, and hence our call, having opened lower this morning, our call for the day is actually neutral, because we just have to watch for these targets to play out. Watch these 1 minute charts on your OTC data. These are going to give the clues as to which way we go next, and this picture will develop, and you can of course play with the box sizes here. So again, we've got an upside target activated. Notice how these downside targets were met. You really can't ignore those. So that is quite key in watching your charts. So first of all, the Brent crude price is looking stronger. It broke through 84, which is quite important, and up through the 85 level. We're just back below 85, but edging higher all the time, and we've got upside targets, hence our call to clients was bullish today. US nat gas, we were very bearish yesterday. It fell 6%, and we have downside targets activated. Our call was bearish again today, so keep an eye on that. Coal is sitting at 110, just starting to wander below this cloud here, still in bearish mode on the short-term chart. We've got upside and downside targets here. This is the key to a lot of these. Will we relief rally to a lower high, or will we fall based on the target that we saw given off this high to a lower level? Emissions are up slightly, but we are concerned about targets here on emissions. We've got this new downside target. It'll be interesting to see how these play out. Watch this chart again. We've got upside targets, and if we go to the really shorter term, these downside targets actually influenced our opinion a bit today, so just keep an eye on that. Looking at the MBP price, we talked about TTF, MBP, similar story. We've got targets in both directions. We have to watch for this to play out. Notice on the 60-minute, though, we do have downside targets, so it's not looking good, and we are just starting to wander through here. And of course, if we break this low, that will be very bad news. So 160 on MBP is the level to watch, and on TTF, the level to watch is just below that 65 level. 63 would be bad news. Any new lows there we've got to watch out for. German power also struggling. We've gone neutral again today on German power, purely because it's too hard after such a big fall to say that we won't have a bounce for today. Doesn't mean we're bullish overall, it just means we're bullish for the day. Well, we're neutral for the day because we could have that relief rally. So really a tight situation. You've got to watch the OTC targets here on your data, and that's quite key. And also just looking at the quarterly contract for Nordic power, we're just holding above the cloud, looking a bit better than other power markets in Europe, so maybe we'll start to see a recovery there. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See